Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody. Welcome back to your morning live stream. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. So let's see. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. No channels for me. Good morning. NE mailed CLNE yesterday. Not sure exactly what that means, but sure. Well, give me 1 second. I gotta double check something here. So this is something that I want to show you guys right now while you're on the channel, so that we know that you can see this. All right, ready? Here's Connor's channel. So this is from YouTube. How to trade for beginners. This is live right now. It says one person is watching. We can refresh the page. It still shows only one person is watching. So if you were live on YouTube, like going through trying to find people to watch, currently YouTube is only showing that one person is watching our stream, when in reality we have 75 people to 55 people currently watching our stream. So why is it when you search Connor on YouTube, it only shows one person's watching him live, when we actually have, over 75, 60 people currently watching live? Do you guys see what I'm up against? So, and look, we can refresh the page. I've been doing this. So we just refreshed the page, still there. Let's try doing a new page. There it goes. So really weird that it was staying like that on that page, but even this morning, I noticed that, too. So random glitches, really weird glitches, I gotta tell you. So nonetheless, weird things. Yeah, now it's 80, but that was an older page. But anyway, so a lot of weird reoccurrences I've noticed. Yeah, I know. I was going to get in contact with someone at YouTube, so that was kind of my next thing. But you know how hard it is to get in contact with them, so I didn't even want to try. So let's get rocking and rolling here. We're going to start the day off with the market. So we're going to peek on over here at the SPY. We'll creep on over the Nasdaq. So the assumption was yesterday that we were going to basically stay trending kind of sideways. Well, the market ended up having somewhat of a decent, good, long day. So on the SPY yesterday, we recommended, these two red lines were kind of like the long move, and we expected that there was going to be resistance in this area. Well, the inflation numbers come out, yada, 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 market blows up. You will see that it ends up breaking through that resistance, and then later in the day comes down to it and bounces as a support. So this was the true trending resistance yesterday that ended up breaking, which in result turned it into a support. So nonetheless, markets are still kind of bullish, heading on the up. Like I said, I just really expect markets to continue following this trend until the day that they don't. So the levels today have adjusted from yesterday. So we will give the updated levels on the market here. Give me just a half a second. So, and I'm going to go full screen on this. We don't need the other screen there. Somebody said, thanks for the call on Mrna. Yes, absolutely. Anytime. Alrighty, so with the SPY right now, the current support of that market is 443 to 443.05. So in the event you see the market sells down to here, this is a level you'd want to be buying a bounce around. So again, this is your long level down at 44.43 to 44. It's pretty much to say 44.43 is pretty much your long level. Alrighty, we're gonna pop on over to the Nasdaq. Really no long targets on any of that stuff. All right, so the Nasdaq didn't have quite as good a day as the SPY did yesterday. That's still kind of struggling. So still really the same. Well, no, it's not. The levels have changed from yesterday on the Nasdaq. So now the new dip long level where we would consider buying a dip on the SPY is located a zone from 361.50 to 360. So 360 to 360.50, that's the long zone of the market right now for me on the Nasdaq, meaning that's where I'd be more likely to add a long play. as opposed to right here. So just long markets, not really adding anything new, not trying to be anything crazy unless they were to dip down into this support area. So market's still the same as they were yesterday, ho-hum, diddly-dum, on the up, unless they pull back and actually tag a bigger support. All right. So that's really the market. Like I said, until this actually does something, it's pretty much going to be the same analysis every single day. Do I think SPCE is at a buy level for a swing trade yet? I could take a peek in a second. Can we get the price alerts from pre-market? Nice. So yeah, we can take a quick peek at SPCE here. Nope, I don't think SPCE is a swing long here. Again, if you look at what just happened, right? The market tried to base here, tried to break up. It broke through the mean briefly, back down, so that's extremely bearish. Anybody who bought this bottom is probably getting ready to stop out. So honestly, I don't know if we're going to pop back up first or go down first, but I really... Okay, that helps. All right, so actually, yeah, SPCE is on a support today. It's probably more of a long than it is a short. So it's kind of hard to judge. There's a couple reasons why. I got to explain. So pretty much put it this way, whenever a market bases like this and then the market comes through it, a lot of times it's going to lead to more of a downside move. And pretty much all that means is, what I'm trying to get at is, the market tried to base here on a half deviation as opposed to a full deviation. All right, we have a support here at 28.84, but everyone just tried to support the market here. Now, since they're stopping out, they might actually add enough selling pressure to break the support. So if I could, support right now is at like 28. They tried to base the market here. That failed, so everybody basing here might stop out, cause it to break support, and swing it down to 23.46. I'm not certain about that, so for the day, you're still really watching this level, which is $27.11 for a hold. If it starts to break below, maybe you go bearish, but nonetheless, I don't like the way that this is set up to be extremely long biased. So I would really just be looking to see if the market starts to sustain this price level today, which is 27.10. If not, then I could see the market swinging down to a low of 23.46, and at 23.46, that's where I'd be more long bias. So again, I'm not comfortable being extremely long bias where we're currently at because it seems a little iffy, but you still got to watch it. Maybe something odd happens and the $27 price does end up holding in 3 weeks from now. The market is up on SBC. In the event the $27 price doesn't hold and it keeps swinging down, then I myself wouldn't really care to put money on a long side trade until it gets down to the price of 23.46, which would be the -1 deviation on the 180-day 4-hour chart. Shee. There we go. SBCE done. Very nice. Very nice. Shorting PLTR, huh? Earnings, it is strong. I could wait. It is 26. Yeah, I mean, definitely not a price that I would be buying PLTR long bias in for sure. So I can get behind the fact that you want to be bearish, the fact that it's up at over +3 and at +4 in the intraday. Not coming off any long-term resistance yet. Long-term resistance exists up at 26.50. So arguably, you might see a price at 26.50 today. That's possible. But yeah, good earnings move from PLTR. Long moves already happened this morning pre-market. So for me, that's something that I would just basically be watching for the time being for either a pullback, then a long, or for it to get extremely overbought up to 26.50 and then be bearish. Is kind of the way I would look at that right now. That's really... So there's two books I mentioned yesterday. One of them was a CMT book, which is a Chartered Market Technician book. It's basically a book you study to pass an exam. The other one was Stock Market Trade Craft. Yeah, I was looking at the, yes, I do use Lightspeed. How's the dog go? He's good. He's good. What time frame do I generally use for swing trades? Daily chart and 180-day chart. Is Roku close to a support level? That I don't know, but I believe it was going up. Well, no, I guess it was going down. Yeah, Roku's getting close to a swing long. Actually, yeah, you should probably consider Roku already as a swing long. So yeah, we're going to give the alert right now. Roku, you want to be more swing long on. So, wait, let me just double check. I mean, you could start something small, but you still have risk of down to 350-ish, 345. So this is the desired long level for me. This is where I would like to consider being long bias on Roku down in that. I'm not even going to put a box. Just tell you the prices again. I would rather be long at about 354 to 346. So you're pretty close to that. So does it get down there? It's debatable, but we're pretty much getting into a long level on Roku. Yes. PLTR max price target for me today, 2650. What is your bread and butter setup? Really none. If I could pick reversals, buying in low risk levels, shorting on low risk tops, that's my bread and butter. Actually, the more I've studied my CMT book, the less that I've used patterns and things like that, because realistically, I mean, there's some edge to patterns, but, based on like market research and things like that, patterns don't really have much of a statistical edge in the market to begin with. So, and that's based on just patterns happening in general. Looking at patterns, most of them don't actually provide profitability. On a long-term perspective. Patterns create big moves, but patterns don't necessarily dictate up and or down. There's some things you could look at that can give you an idea of it going up and down, but realistically, patterns don't have a great track record. So what's the bread and butter for me? The bread and butter for me is basically like something like this. Roku selling all the way down into a low-risk support that I can see that a lot of times some of the market doesn't see, so that would be a good one. Just like the other day, Mrna. Mrna was trading right up at +3 deviations on the long-term chart. Really well. I think it was a little higher than that, slightly higher than that, but very overbought. Pretty much time to sell it, short play. So, the system and strategy that I work off was able to predict basically $100 short here, right? So this had nothing to do with the pattern, right? My thoughts of being bearish on Mrna had no pattern suggestion, just simply overbought, should come down from point A to point B. And so far it's been about 100 points. And that's really just it. Just looking at things in a high-low perspective of the market. I don't aim towards specific setups really anymore. Patterns happen all day long. Consolidation happens all day long. They break up, they break down. So I guess the point being is, if I'm going to use patterns, right, if I'm saying I'm going to do a bull flag, then I want to trade a bull flag when a bull flag is happening at low prices and not high prices. So the patterns, if I'm going to trust a pattern on a bull side, then the price has to be low. If I'm going to trust a pattern on a bear side, then the pattern has to be happening in a high price. So, if we started to get what looked like a bear flag up here, then I would probably trade it down. Or if we started to get a bull flag up in the +3 deviations, I probably wouldn't trade it up, right? Because when you're trading up at +3, +4 deviations, it's very unlikely the stock keeps going up. So if you're seeing something like a pennant happening, I would assume that that's not a bullish pennant and it's probably a bearish one and trade it down. And that's also the other thing as to why over the long run in terms of trading, patterns haven't really provided long-term profitability for many traders, because they could trade a bull flag when the price is low and the bull flag works really good, and they see that same sort of pattern, but it's happening at a high price. They go in to trade it, and then it breaks down. And then right there, that loss cancels out the win. So theoretically, there's a 0 win rate by using that pennant pattern from that specific trader. So if I'm doing patterns, anything's pattern related, bull or bear, bear has to be happening at high prices, bull has to be happening at lower prices. Theoretically is kind of how I go about that. Which here's like a good example actually for me to show you what I mean by that. Is the stock BNGO. So the last time we not the last time, but one of the last like trades we did quite a while back was long on BNGO, and so you can see BNGO had like a really nice bull flag here, right? So I had a bull flag right there, and then that bull flag broke up, and then we ended up buying in this move. We didn't buy the bull flag breakout, we bought on the pullbacks here, and then we traded this move from around here with the price target of here. So we were literally bought here and said market's going to go to that point, and then we sold here. And you can see that a really nice bull flag happened there. But if we zoom out, and this isn't exactly how it looked in the past, things have changed a little bit, but you can see from here the price was really overbought, then it was really oversold. So we got a bull flag happening in an oversold location, or in more of a buy zone as opposed to a selling zone. All right. You can see up here, right? Look at this pennant pattern right here. Right, wedge squeezes up and then comes right back down, because you were buying a pennant wedge into an overbought market, hence sell down. Whereas this is you're buying a bull flag in an oversold market, break up, continuation up. So that's kind of what I was talking about with patterns. Is naturally it's not me looking for patterns. At first is me looking on a high-low perspective for a market. So far, haven't really seen anything running. Yeah, so far, it doesn't really look like much has popped running on the scanner today. So, in my opinion, so far, really no penny stock runners or anything like that. Yeah, we'll talk about Clove. So Clove ended up doing a long yesterday. Now, there was somebody that asked me about Clove yesterday, and I didn't give the most enthusiastic recommendation on it. I want to say I was more neutral. I can't remember if I changed my mind, because initially I think I was neutral to bearish, but then I think I changed from neutral to bearish to kind of bullish, but then I changed back from that to just kind of being neutral, and like had really no thoughts towards it. So yesterday I didn't give like the most straightforward analysis for a Clove, but part of the analysis did end up coming true. We will talk about that. So all of the long targets that we did give for Clove in the event that did go long ended up happening this morning. So I didn't know whether or not it would go long, whether there's going to be bearish, or just kind of stay trading sideways. That I was uncertain of. But we did end up giving the price targets in the event the market did go long, and it did work, and I was wrong. These are the price targets that it was going to go to. Those all happened yesterday, so I do have a pretty good understanding of Clove this morning. We will get to touching on that in a second. I will also take a look at NEO. I won't be able to look at everything, but of course I will do my best to look at some of the popular ones. AMD bottoming, I will take a look here in a sec. Long on skills, possibly. I have no idea. Thanks for Roku, anytime. Anytime. I really wish our stream would just randomly stop dropping off, users. Great video yesterday. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, the video about the Turo car. So, yeah, I mean, we can, if anybody's curious about that, we can take 10 minutes this morning and discuss that new business venture. There are some things that I left out in that video, so if you're following closely along with that, there's a couple other things that we could point out today, but all of that will and or is going to be coming in this series. Who's the author of the second book I mentioned? His name? I don't remember his name off the top of my head. It's in my email, but I don't remember his name. I think his name's Gene. It's Gene. That's his first name. I don't have a video on patterns, but that was something that I wanted to do. And if I do those in the future, that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a top 20 pattern or a top 5 pattern video, but I will do that, and I will give the statistics behind the winning rates of those patterns. But that is something I wanted to do, yes. Sally, so all of the live trading that takes place is generally going to be done in the Leads program. Everything that you're going to get here is live analysis going forward. I heard you and Matt Core is about to do a boxing match. No, we're not going to do a boxing match. Probably not. Let's check AMC though, because if anybody wants to go over there and let them know how it's going to move for the day. I'm just kidding. So we're going to pop on AMC just real quickly. I'm going to make sure I continue going through comments. So I think yesterday's analysis was we were still recommending bearish the market. Even though it had a good bounce there, we're still not recommending to be long the stock until the $25 price point or the market. So when I say long, I mean if you were to buy, so like if you wanted to buy AMC, right? And when I say buy AMC, I'm saying buy it and you're not going to go, and it's actually going to work. It's going to move, right? Not go and then pull back on you. So from here, we still have the opportunity that AMC goes long today, long tomorrow, up to the price of 34. And now I'm not recommending you trying to trade up to 34, right? Or I'm not recommending you trying to buy it and go to 34, because once you get to 34, you still have resistance here that has to clear in order for the bullish market to gain real control. This would just be a bullish move to attempt gaining control, right? That's like you going to ask your mom, hey, can you take me to McDonald's? And then she's like, no. And then you come back a little bit later and you're like, hey, Ma, can we go to McDonald's? And she's like, no. So before you invest and get your hopes too high, just know Mama Bear might still knock you down. So again, we got to get through Mom's second no in order to be extremely bullish there. So we still have the potential long move back to retrace, let's say around like 34.50. So I wouldn't really recommend any sort of longs on AMC until the market is down at about 25.70 now, and or crossing up and through and sustaining above the price point of 34.70. So nonetheless, we're still bearish on the market for AMC, predicting price targets of 25.70, or a better way of putting it is we're predicting that AMC is trying to trade down to a -1 deviation mark. So whether it trades down to the price or the deviation comes to price, that's what the market's trying to do. So we're still watching it, but mainly bearish for the time being on AMC. Who is the author of the second book? I already did that. Okay. Yes, Clove did increase their earnings and a couple things there. You're absolutely right. All right, Mogo, or not Mogo, sorry. We're gonna start top to bottom here on. We'll start with Clove. All right, so Clove yesterday, the recommendation was that in the event it did actually turn into a long, the market was going to try to retrace up to the price of 871. Once you cleared 871 and gained control there, you would then target up to 938. So if we kind of go look at the 1 minute chart from yesterday, you will see that after hours is what caused the move. So the earnings report is what actually caused the long move. So without a good earnings report, this move probably wouldn't be happening. So the earnings report, you can see, squeezed up to our first price target. We actually went well above it. And then it came back down to it, snapped below it. Then the market got bought up, gained control of that level, moved to the second level, which was here at 940. So the market is still going, and then look at, so you can see we pushed above it, then we pulled back down to that level and held it. So right now it looks like Clove is trying to gain control of its long-term statistical mean. So what that means is it's pretty much on the long right now. So ideally, you need to break this top back in whatever date that is at 990. But I think the max target I would go for today on Clove is $10.14. Yeah, I don't really think I would try to be anything more long than 10.14 for right now. I will say that if this is a true deviation move, then the target's going to be somewhere up to $11.90. I mean, yeah, if this is a true breakout, you're going to see Clove up at prices of $11.60 to $12 is legit. So yeah, if this is a true breakout, you should see, so annoying, you should see prices of like $12 or so. Kevin, so that's a good question. You know, why not give out your TOS and scans for free? Why charge so much? You know, I don't know. I should ask the person. Well, more or less, it's like, why does Apple charge so much for their phones, right? Like when you go to the Coney Island, why do you have to pay for the chili cheese dog? Because if you didn't actually charge money for these products, then you wouldn't be operating a business. So in the world of business, generally the way to run a successful one is that you charge for different products and services. So in a nutshell, that's probably the best answer I can give you is in order to run and operate a successful business and have employees and contractors and people you pay so that they can feed their families, ideally you have to charge for some services and or products. That's pretty much it. Okay, next one on the list is Neo this morning. All right, we're going to take a peek over there. Also, another thing too, when it comes to a lot of the scans and scripts and things like that, I'm also partnered with another individual on some of those products as well. So I don't have full control over them as well. All right, so Neo, they reported this morning, or was that? Yeah, I think it was supposed to be this morning that they were going to actually do the report. So did the numbers come out? So it looks like Neo had sales of 1.3 billion. They beat the estimate of 1.2. Okay, that's cool. Looks relatively choppy on its past charting here. Half deviation price, so it's lower than half deviation price. Pretty solid candle though. All right, so it's kind of awkward. The way I see it is I have a zone right now on Neo. This is my zone. So you have this being resistance, this being so top of the zone resistance, bottom of the zone support. So that's literally how I have this market, which is probably why it traded down after hours, down to here, then it spiked up to about here, then it dropped back to about here, then it spiked to about there, and then it spiked down to here, and then it spiked up there. And so that's probably why it's doing this back and forth kind of movement, is because I have two levels, which one of here is here and the other one's here, support and resistance, creating a channel in which so far the price action's through. So this is something where I'd probably look on the long side for Neo to gain control of the prices of 44.39. That's probably it. I really don't have a great outlook for this because it's just kind of chopping around for the past couple days, and then we're currently in between two levels right now as opposed to moving towards one, and so kind of awkward there on Neo. So take that analysis for what it's worth, but I believe if it's a long, you're looking for Neo to gain control over the top of this market, and I kind of want to be more on the long side because I just would rather be on the long side. But again, we're right in the middle of consolidation, so it's probably best just to sit and watch this and wait for clear conviction on what it's doing, as opposed to trying to guess and make assumptions within this consolidation move. All right, next one I have down on the list here is AHPI. So this is stock just from a couple days ago, broke up, went into the highs. Still looks a little bullish. I mean, that's a pretty solid trend there. I mean, that's all of those candles are pretty much just following trend straight up. So ideally, what people are looking for here is they're looking to squeeze out short sellers again. So long bias, well, people shorted right the other day when it was 16, they shorted. Then when it came back up to retest the 16s, they shorted. Now it's grinding up again, and ideally you're looking to force a short squeeze on the long side of things. That's what they're trying to do. The longs are trying to force a short squeeze. You can see that this is a big pennant. So when people are talking about patterns and wedges, so what you have is a 3-day wedge occurring, and if the shorts from the past 3 days get taken out, you're going to see this explode again. Now, I'm not going to try to trade long bias on that within that wedge because, again, that is a wedge taking place over +3 deviation. So theoretically, it's a wedge that's taking place in an overbought location. So I just feel less comfortable trying to get long on that. Again, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's our YouTube stream. Right there, we had a spike to 541 users about a couple minutes ago, and then they just dropped it right back off to 332. So very interesting. I would just like to know where those 200 people come from. Where'd they go? Why? So really odd there again. Not sure where they all decided to go to, or if it's a glitch, but that's the second time we've seen that happen in 2 days or 3 days. So really odd. Really odd. So with AHPI, again, it's trending over into an overbought location, so I would not feel as comfortable trying to trade this long bias at this point. So for me, I got to stay more on the bear side, just because it is into some overbought prices. But I will say this, that this is definitely a stronger trending stock, right? We pushed up, we pulled back, we pushed up, we pulled back, we grinded, we're overbought. So it is strong in that regard, but I just can't justify being extremely long bias on that top area. AMD, next one on the list. Somebody, I think they said they think it bottomed. I really don't think it has. It could. I think AMD is going to go down more. I think it's going to do an awkward rolling over move. Like this little bottom really wasn't a bottom, and then it's going to roll down some more. So I think I'm still on the side of watching this bearish AMD with price targets still down towards 103. Well, we are at the +2 mark there. Yeah, part of me wants to stay bearish on this. I don't know for sure, though. but I think I'm going to still stay on the bear side of this. Looking for it to continue moving down after this little dip bounce that we've been seeing. Not a great analysis, but yeah, that's enough. SKLZ, we'll take a peek here. Downtrending, I don't really see you do anything with that. Maybe it has the start of a bullish divergence occurring, but again, it's downtrending. It's below -1 deviations, which is a pretty bearish thing. So yeah, I would just stay on the bear side until that actually makes a move for you. Not much to do there. Mogo. Someone asked me about this, and I don't remember what the question was. I mean, yeah, there's no support that I have for this. I kind of think this is going to give back that gain. I kind of think Mogo is going to give back the gain from yesterday. I think it's going to sell off. Now, if I'm wrong and it doesn't sell off, then we're looking for Mogo to take back control of the half candle retrace level, which is at $6.90. So in order for me to be considerate of a long today on Mogo, I think it would have to result in getting over the $6.80. Well, it's more like $6.90-ish. Price $687, $688, $690. Mogo up and through that. That's what would probably convince me to be more long bias for a move. Yeah, living large, but the thing is it never actually, it goes from 300 to 500, 700, and then it drops right back off. So it's just kind of odd. So it's not like they were actually ever here. It's like they came in and then they were taken out almost. But what do I know? Johnny, yeah, so your levels, so pretty much put it this way, standard deviation calculates and changes almost every single 1 minute candle in the market. Your daily chart candles and 4-hour candles, those are going to take more time to change, but nonetheless, they're always changing, they're always becoming different, so you just have to keep up on them and make sure that you're changing with them. Mrna is at 385. Yes, 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 it is. So I was debating whether or not to be long bias Mrna today. I really wanted to get Mrna down to 351.61 because we're only on a half deviation price. So part of me thinks you should probably watch today a little long bias, but I think it's only a counter trend long day that's going to end up getting sold back into eventually. But this was like sort of one of the price targets we said to look for on the downside of Mrna was towards 385. But again, I think we would much rather get it down towards 350 before we want to be long. But again, we'll see. Nonetheless, if anything, I think today is a counter trend long bounce on Mrna with a potential price target up to 414 right now. Half candle retrace level is taking the 50% mark from the previous trading day action and giving you a projected level. So it's pretty much a Fibonacci level from the previous day. So you're just looking at the 50% retrace level of the previous day, which ends up to be a very common reoccurrence in the market. Would you make a video showing how to simulate a short using options? Um, yeah, so Sean, I don't know. Like, I have no idea what your level of knowledge is in the market, but or but you would never. I don't like simulate. You don't simulate a short position using options. You don't simulate anything. If you're going to use options, you're just trading options. You're not trading options to simulate a short. If you're asking in the sense that I can't be short bias on stocks, I'm not able to short them, is there a way to be short the stock with using options? Yes. You're not simulating a short, you're just being bearish, right? And so you just buy a put. So again, a good way of saying is if stock is at $100, you think it can go to $80, you could buy a put, an $80 put. You could buy an $85 put. You could buy a $90 put. You could buy a $93 put. You could buy a $100 put. You could buy a $120 put. Pretty much, if you think something's going to go down, you just buy a put. And it's going to emulate that of being bearish to stock and making money as it falls. But, like simulating, so like, yeah, maybe the question just kind of slightly confused me. Don't take it the wrong way, but yeah, you're not really simulating a short. You're just taking a bearish bet on the stock is all. How can you day trade with me? You can sit in this stream throughout the rest of the morning, and then just take our live analysis. And if you see value in that analysis, it makes sense for you to take an investment, then feel free to do so. If you're looking to trade with more hand holding, then you're probably going to be looking at our Elites trading program, which would be found at boilerroomtrading.com. or by one of the links that the Nightbot computer sends out. Sandra, honestly, I don't really know the answer to your question. Again, the 50% retracement level is just calculating previous trading day's action. Can you use options profit calculator.com to see a profit and loss for options? That I don't really know because I don't trade options all that much, and I've never used that service or that website, so I really couldn't answer that question fully. ACI for Mr. Patrick Hutchinson here. Let's take a gander. Overbought. I would probably be bearish the stock at these prices in the immediate with the market structure. I don't anticipate this market going higher than $32 right now. If in the event it does go a little over that, definitely overbought. So we've started getting to overbought locations. This is where you would consider the stock is getting ready to pull down. Price targets on the way down are going to be back to about $25.79 for now to $24 for the time being. So what I've read is a synthetic short by simultaneously selling a call option. So that would be writing a call option, which means you would need underlying equity theoretically, and buying the same number of put options at the same strike price. I mean, I don't know exactly which play you're going for, but again, if you buy a bunch of calls and you buy a bunch of puts and they're the exact same strike price, then realistically, those calls are going to be fighting your put. So when the call goes up, the calls make money and the puts lose money. So ideally, what you're doing is you're locking yourself into a position where you're basically not losing any money, no matter whether or not the market goes up or down, because you're straddling the price action of the market. So in that instance, you basically buying a put and a call. So whether or not the market goes up or goes down, you make money up and you make money down. And then you would usually ditch your calls or ditch your puts, get rid of them after you decided the market's going to continue going this way. So you'll lose on the puts, but then if the calls keep going, then you end up making money. So I don't really, maybe that's what you're talking about, but it's really just a straddle at that point. What kind of standard deviation indicator are you using on your chart? The custom one made from boilerroomtrading.com. Any pennies for today? So yeah, I mean, now I guess now is a good time to maybe take a peek through some of the ones penny stocks that were moving here, but there wasn't a whole lot. What was there? There was what moved this morning? Hold on. I know this was one of, no, that's not one of them. XBIO might have been one of them. I remember this moved a little bit today. PBTS was another one, but I gotta say there wasn't, when like I said, like the reason I haven't really gone over them because none of them really looked that good. PBTS is like one that was up, kind of looks okay. So PBTS here is of maybe a candidate. The reason it's still a potential candidate is because the 4-hour chart still has room up to 225, and the daily chart still has, actually I could be wrong, I might have done my analysis wrong earlier, which I think I did. So this is resistance. We did hit resistance. We hit regression resistance at $1.86. So right now, with the way that the market is currently situated, nah, I don't trust that. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a support down until here. Myself, resistance is here. If breakout here, target is here. Okay, so support, resistance, target. So maybe we could color code for fun. Green, red, and we'll do baby blue for target, or blue. So red support, green resistance, blue would be target. All right, all done there with PBTS. But yeah, like I said, there wasn't really any great penny stocks this morning that I saw. Has MRIN hit a bottom? You know, I got to check just because, you know, we've been watching that for so long, and you've asked so many times, and I'm glad you keep asking, or else I probably just forget about it. But yeah, I mean, doesn't look like it's bottom. Looks like it's stair-stepping down still. So probably just keep letting it go. So actually, yeah, Ignacio, actually, that's a great idea. I was actually going to I always kind of forget to do that, but, yeah, give me a second. If you guys just, like, actually let me think for about 2 seconds, then I can do this. 1 second. All right, so we got to add a text. I think I already added text. I did, but it has to be a scrolling bar. We'll do uppercase. So all right, I gotta size this properly. See what we want it to be. See what it's like a black box. Yeah, I'll have to work on this. Because there's really no way to... Let me see what that does. Strikeout, underline, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can definitely do that, but it's not going to be today. It's something I planned on doing, but it's not as quickly as I would like to be able to do it right now. Okay. You know, this might be some interesting stuff for you guys on. So this is a member from our trading community. This is in regards to PLTR. He's saying he does not believe that the price of PLTR will exceed 25, at least for right now, because on the August 21st option chain, there's just a lot of calls there for 35. So basically that is going on the assumption that the market makers won't allow for those 30,000 calls to be allowed to get into the money. So basically saying that market makers are going to try to keep the price of PLTR below 25 so that they don't so they can keep from 30,500 calls getting into the money on PLTR before August 20 or August 21st or August 13th. Sorry, that's the 13th August. That's my bad. Sorry people. Clearly I'm an idiot. So yeah, before August 13th. So yeah, like, and if we go back over to PLTR, this was without even considering the options chain. The recommendation myself was that is that did I even do PLTR? Hardly remember looking at this. Wait. I gotta delete these. I'm getting so confused right now. So anyways, with PLTR, I remember saying that we do have the one deviation level here. So this is kind of the resistance level, 2550. And then the daily chart has the statistical mean at 2630. So in reality, there is a big resistance zone right here, right? So you could just think of that gray box area. That's a big resistance zone. Okay, and that resistance zone starts at 2550 to a high of 2630, right? So today is August 12th, so maybe markets run into there and then they sell off below 25. So I do believe there's a good chance we can see PLTR moving into that price zone, so to speak. So again, that 25.50 to 26 would be my max target long on the day. And in order for that thesis of those options to expire worthless, ideally they would move the market into this price and then they would sell off the resistance before the end of the day below 25, allowing for those options to stay out of the money. So we'll see. I am not too certain on that, but again, that would be my max long zone for PLTR today. How can they do that? Rob Winter via shorting. So, this is maybe a good time to let you guys know that. Oh, 1 second before we go further. Yeah, so this would be a good time to let you know that whenever you're trading in a market, whenever you're buying, whenever you're investing, you're mainly dealing with a direct market maker for whichever market you're looking at. And nowadays, most of it's done by computers for the most part. So, when someone's asking, how are they going to keep the price below 25? I mean, if I had, let's just say, 35 million shares of the stock PLTR, then I could probably all day long sell my shares onto the bid, getting rid of some of my inventory on the stock, sell the bid, 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 inevitably creating the stock from reaching $25. And there's really nothing wrong with that because, again, I have 35 million shares of the stock. I'm a market maker. My job is there to provide liquidity. Well, I have a bunch of shares, and a lot of people are buying, so I'm going to keep selling it to them, and I'm going to sell the bid, and I'm going to dampen and weaken the market. And all I'm really doing is the job that I have been designated to do. So that's kind of how that can happen. And there's nothing wrong with it at really the end of the day. Yeah. Well, today that worked quickly. That's a first. Of course, I already said I wanted to do that. Thanks, Steven. Appreciate that. Thank you. GOED, good earnings and still going down. Yeah, that happens. That definitely happens. So what's my watch list today? So after looking at everything in the market, there isn't any penny stocks I'm really crazy about. That could change, so I'm sure something will pop on the scanner that maybe is interesting. So penny stocks, I'm probably just leaving it to the scans to find. Aside from that, it would appear that it still makes sense to maybe watch a little bit of Mrna because volatility has been pretty good there. Maybe still watch a little bit of AMD because it seems like people are interested. So I think today's watch list for me is going to end up being a little bit of Mrna, a little bit of AMD, watching this PLTR, keeping an eye on the scanners, and maybe watching Clove. I think today for me it's going to be Clove, PLTR, Clove, PLTR, AMD, Mrna, and whatever penny stocks come from that. Swing longs, I kind of think we should watch Roku still. So maybe periodically popping and looking at Roku throughout the day for maybe a swing long here pretty soon. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else. Give me a sec, folks. I'll be right back. XELA. One second. So it recovered up, not bad. I mean, XELA is still holding its own. Analysis is pretty much still the same from yesterday, which would be for like a bigger breakout, you got to get through your +1 mark, which is at 338-ish. Nice little hold there from XCLA. That's not bad. Oh, man. Clove short. Again, let's see, 1013. So does that mean that Clove went up to our price target and sold off? Wait, I think I'm getting Clove and the other one mixed up. Check the daily chart. 1045. It's right there. So no, Clove is holding below that half deviation price so far. So if we zoom in, you can see where the top of the wick today is on Clove. It exists right at $3, or sorry, 1014. So the half deviation price Clove exists at 1014. So sort of your new breakout level is in fact the pre-market high. The pre-market high is the half deviation price right now. So essentially Clove is at the halfway mark from this level. Yeah, it's just at the 50% mark. So your breakout level today is probably your pre-market high on Clove. We did not cover ZEV. We did not cover SUNW. So ZEV spiked up yesterday, sold down again. Ugh, I kind of feel like that's still going to come down some. Yeah, I think I'd just slightly be bearish on that for right now. With a target maybe down to... It kind of already did that. Yeah, I think I'm still slightly bearish on that to be... Well, typically from where it pulled back, it would be targeting to this orange level. We didn't really touch it, so today's analysis would be either a spike back into 1060 and down, or it just falls down towards that 960s price. Well, PLTR's starting to pull back a little bit. Yeah, I wonder what wonder how our friend Mrna is going to shape up today. ZOM looks bearish. Don't really think there's a whole lot to do there. ACY, a little bit of a move yesterday into resistance again. Mrna resists, or not Mrna, sorry, ACY resistance 2705, current support right now. Current support is 24.95. I don't really have much of an outlook for ACY. Oh boy, sorry. I'm sure someone else is going to be yawning with that. Not really crazy about ASTR. Red Bulls. No yawning. No yawning. Mr. PB McTS. It is like the one penny stock today that's kind of up, so I mean, we will watch this. The range really, excuse me. The range really isn't that big. It has a 40 million share float, so a little on the higher side there. CNFR only has a 3 million share float. So this is definitely a penny stock with, and we can see up to there. Sorry. Yeah, so with CNFR, we're kind of in support right now. This might be a candidate. It's kind of awkward looking, but this might be a candidate for us. Here's a coffee. Thank you. I appreciate that. I could definitely use a coffee. LAC. Right now, LAC is on resistance, so generally speaking, this is a level where it could very well pull back. You also got through the mean, so that's good. So if this is a true break, you should see a target of 20 max, 2070 max. So let's see, 5-day, 10-day, 10-day. So right now, LAC is on resistance. The support level you needed to stay above is 1711. You will see that 2 days ago, we broke above it. Then we tried to run yesterday, failed. Pulled back to that red level, bounced back to the red level, holding below. So your breakout level really is around 1810. Your support level that you want to stay above is about 17. And then your max target on this new leg up and out, if that does happen, is going to be $20.70 to $20.80 or so. Wow, CNFR is based in Birmingham. That's not very far from it. It's only like 15-minute drive or so. If the Momo and reversal scanners are not populating anything, that's because the scanner hasn't picked anything up that it feels is valuable enough to send. That's pretty much it. BTBT. So BTBT, that continued down. So remember, we were bearish to here the other way. Was that day, or was it? That was the mark. So we're bearish to there, and we're going down to there. We're here. Do I think BTB? I don't think you would be short bias BTB today. I think BTB does end up having. I was gonna say, check this time frame. Yeah, part of me thinks that. No, I do not live in Alabama. Not Birmingham, Alabama, Birmingham, Michigan. Yeah, part of me does think that we could see a little down move and then BTBT tries to bounce today only so that it can hold the previous price action bottom a little bit. So I kind of feel like there's a little bounce here that's going to happen today on BTBT. First annual golf outing. That could be lit. I would like to do that. If there's a morning sell-off on PLTR, where's a good spot? So PLTR. Nope, you won't go there. If PLTR were to sell off, it would most likely retrace down to a level of 2366. Again, I don't really think that's going to happen, but we'll see. I kind of feel like PLTR is going to get up to the 2555 area. Gosh. I don't know why I'm so tired. I mean, honestly, I'd probably start with the day trading course. It's definitely not as complicated as the Elites program. And if you do get that, you always get lifetime access to any updates we do, which I guarantee there's going to be a lot of updates over the course of forever. So yeah, I would probably start there before the Elites program. If you already got a decent amount of knowledge, the Elites program can definitely be where you want to be. We don't offer trials to anything. Man, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I really do need a coffee. Holy smokes. So, yeah, we don't offer a trial also because not only do you get a chat room, there's a lot of info in there, a lot of material, so that's also why we don't offer a trial there, because once you get access, you gain access to our full library of different materials and things like that. So it looks like Mrna is currently going up right now. A little bit, not a ton. Like we said, wouldn't be surprised if Mrna goes up to 414. Hell, it could probably even go all the way up to 426 today. So we'll see. It's not like the best buy spot, obviously. So we'll see. It's a counter trend bounce for the day, but again, better buy zone's probably down at 340s, 350-ish area. More keywords in the title. It really doesn't work. No matter what you do, if you do keyword tags, keywords in the title, it doesn't work. YouTube knows who they want to push stuff to and who they don't, for the most part. It doesn't matter. You could try any keyword you want. I've tried it. It doesn't work, unless you want to be like super clickbait. It's like, how to make $1 million in 2 minutes, which is complete bullshit. So it doesn't matter. I've tried all sorts of ways to put words in this word and that word, and it all relatively comes out to being the same. YouTube generally keeps us at about 3.5 to 4,000 views on any video. Live stream, video, doesn't matter. Ironically enough, some of my stories that I post to YouTube get 20,000 views. So it's actually funny that the stories I post to YouTube get 20,000 views, which is like a Snapchat basically, as opposed to the videos I post. They keep me at 3.5, 4,000 views. We've been over that too. I I could post 1 video a day, get about 4,000 views. I could post 4 videos a day, and it'll give me 1,000 views on each video. But yeah, I mean, I've tried keywords and things like that, but we'll just keep rocking and rolling the way we are. I'm sure things are fine. I'm sure we'll eventually pick up more so. We're all good. So anyways, yeah, keep an eye on Mrna today. PLTR is definitely going to be a watcher. Obviously, we're going to be keeping an eye on Clove, an eye on the markets. Lambos and hookers, baby. Dylan Hawthorne, you said YouTube is telling me I'm not live. Could you, if there's like proof of that, can you like just send it to me? Is that possible? You could either email it to me or Discord it to me. Or is it just the fact that they didn't notify you that we're actually live? Noctura, no, they don't. No. The game doesn't want people learning to trade with legitimate information. All right. That's why if I post a video that's completely unfactual, it will most likely get a lot of views. Like if I tell you RSI is the best indicator, that will most likely get views. If I tell you MACD is the best indicator, that will most likely get views because those aren't. Or no, yeah, Noctu. That is exactly what you're saying. I know that. I know. We do need one. Yeah, so, and even if I go into like an incognito mode, like it still shows our platform and everything. So anyways, I think we're good. The numbers have gradually gone up. So we're pretty close to market open. We got about 12 minutes left till then. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate that. Yeah, so it's not going to be easy, the new venture. I mean, I've done it before. I've already rented cars on Turo, so I've already done it. I've already made money doing it in the past, but I didn't continue with it because at the time that I was doing that, I ended up buying this house, and then I ended up buying another rental property. So there was a lot of big expenses that were coming my way. So what I decided to do was sell my cars and just get my money back. To then put down on this house, and knowing that I had a rental property I was going to be getting invested to. So there was a lot of money that was going to go out at one time. So then I stopped that, sold my cars, bought other investments, and now that those investments are doing well, I'm back to the point where like, all right, I'm ready to go into this even heavier again. So there's going to be an uphill battle. It's never going to be easy. Turo is a complete pain in the ass. Oh, look at that. We just jumped to 588 viewers a second ago, and then it jumped us back down to 528. So theoretically, there was 100 new viewers, and now we're back to 428. Really odd. So, again, yeah, the thing with Turo is the company Turo is a complete pain in the ass for claims, which I know and already knew they would be. So Turo doesn't really have your best interest for hosts when trying to do claims if someone crashes your car and things like that. So there is going to be a lot of work in that regard that falls on me, having to go back and forth with Turo and basically fighting to get claims done in the event someone crashes the car or something like that. And that's basically the inherent risk with working with them. That's why I really only see Turo being a feasible option for people if they're willing to put down or put forth some cash and some risk to at least grow a decent amount of cars on your fleet. Because if you're only managing 1 or 2, someone crashes your car, it's down for 2 months. Turo's like, yo, we're not going to cover it. You're like, yeah, you are going to cover it. They're like, no, we're not going to cover it. You're like, yo, I know where your grandma lives and your grandpa. Okay. Then they're like, okay, we'll cover it. And I'm like, that's what I thought. So you might have to do that. And that's why it's important. It's just the same thing with investing in stocks. You don't want to be all in one. You don't want to be all in here. You want to have somewhat of a diversification. So if one fails, you have to just pick up the slack for the other one. And so that's kind of one of the things. So when reading some comments on Reddit and some other places about experiences others have had, One of the biggest issues is that they rented out their car. Someone crashed it. Tried to contact Turo. It was a pain. Turo refused to do the payment. It took a long time. Or I did get the payment, but it wasn't as much as my car was worth. And all those things, which obviously you never want to happen. And now, of course, if you were renting your own car and that happened and that was your only means of transportation and or it's the only car that you're working with, yeah, you're kind of shit out of luck. So there are these risks and you have to know how to manage them, which, of course, I don't know everything because I'm not doing it fully. But there are going to be some uphill battles. It's not going to be straightforward and easy, totally. But at the end of the day, like I said before, people wouldn't be on there for 4, 5, 6 years if there wasn't a way to make money, and they weren't making money doing it. So whether or not it fully works, whether or not it makes a bunch of money, whether or not it's a break-even company, it's going to be fun to do the series. Everyone's going to learn from it. Obviously, I think I can make money from it, so that's why I'm doing it. Yeah. The new to your stream, can you show me and get the diagonal lines? So yes. So those diagonal lines, I just posted a link in the chat. That's what you're going to want to follow. I watch you all the time. How do you know all this? I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Philly Duff, YouTube tried to block your comment, but I had to add it back up because it's just too damn funny. It's not good, bud. It's not good. Best thing you can do is you can take a metal knife and wet it in there and try to get it out. But make sure the toaster's plugged in while you do it. Yeah, AHPI is on the move. So this was that one that I was like, yeah, I don't really want to be long biased because it's overbought, you know. But it's working. Like we said, that trend, the wedge, that's what people are trying to trade up into. So it's working. This is definitely not a stock that I would hold, though. Still, it's just more intraday trading is kind of how you had to do that. What's my typical hold length? Usually a couple minutes is what it comes out to. How did I find this stock? Someone asked about it. We've seen it for the past 5 days. Biggest loss I've taken was about 30 G's over the course of 4 days. 4 or 5 days, or maybe even 3 days. That was like years ago. But about 30 G's doing, was it SPY calls or SPY puts? SPY calls. Yeah, I thought I bought the bottom of a correction. I didn't. Yeah, that sucked. So yeah, there was a moment where I made back 20. It was only down 10, and then I held it, and then the next day it was down. I was like, well, this ain't gonna work. So that was that. Yeah. Jose, no. So if you're looking for live trading, you want to go to Elite's trading program. Everything we do here going forward is just live analysis, basically giving you what we believe to be the most accurate analysis on YouTube with price targets. So, if this is your first time tuning into the stream, I just suggest maybe hanging out with us for at least one day, see what you think of it, and see if any of the info that we mention for you is usable, if that makes sense. So, just give it a look, see what you think. Generally speaking, I think we do a pretty good job at giving realistic price targets for stocks every single day, and price targets that stocks generally move to throughout the day. So. Just give us maybe like a day shot, and if you come to find it's not for you, there's about 16 million other people on YouTube these days too. So I'm sure there's someone out there. Most I made in a day was 47,000. I know I made a YouTube video on that one, but I think it was 47,000. Might have been close to 50. It was either like 47 or 50 grand. That was when I shorted. I don't remember what stock that was, but most I made a day was 47,000. I mean, I still use moving averages and I still use volume, but standard deviation is kind of... I don't really think I did anything to celebrate that day. I think once I got done doing that, I had to drive to Allen Park and set up an office chair for my sister, and then I think I came home, I don't know, maybe ate Panera soup, watched TV, and then woke up for work the next day. Probably about it. Do I trade the Momo gappers? Yeah, we look at stocks that have momentum and are gapping up on the day. That's kind of the cornerstone of anybody who's investing in the market / trading. They're always looking at momentum and gappers, so pretty much the cornerstone of any trading sort of approach a lot of the times. CNFR, we'll go back to there. All right, folks, only got about 2 minutes to go here. CNFR is coming below its support levels for right now, which really isn't good. So it's obviously not extremely bullish. Again, that's the support level that it was in, and now we're fading below. So unless it were to come back and start reclaiming the prices of these levels, we couldn't really suggest bullish. Actually, that video on how to find winning stocks ended up being like one of my most popular videos, and no matter what I do till this day, if I try to like mimic that, never works. Ever. So I don't know if I was just cuter and more cuddly back in the day, but almost all of the videos that I first put on YouTube are all viral videos, and then everything that I did after that never went viral again, or very, very minimal. So must have just been my cute, cuddly demeanor back in the day. What is the best strategy for day trading? Buy low, sell high. Literally, that's the best strategy. But I don't know. I use standard deviation. That's what I like the most. Ross Cameron likes to use price action 5-minute charts. But I guess I really don't actually know. Which hopefully I will eventually figure out once I get done studying all my CMT exams. Hopefully that will solidify an actual strategy that's best, but I don't think there really is one. I don't think there is a best strategy in the market at the end of the day, or at least that the average person like me or you is ever going to fully know. The best strategy in the market is insider trading, but of course we can't get a part of that. All right, so we're going to watch Mrna here at the open. Again, it's kind of moving decent right now. So, yeah. Wow, Clove is just getting Mick spanked. Mick Mac tickle tacked. Alrighty, folks. Alright, so Mrna is going up pretty nice so far. Will it continue to hold? Clove is currently going down. AMD is currently selling down, as we were kind of thinking maybe more bearish that stock. What made me swing Doge last week? The fact it was because Bitcoin was going up. PBTS, well, that's moving pretty decent. Okay, so we'll pop on over to there. So PBTS squeezed up to its first level that we said would be resistance, so kind of watching that. You will see that Clove sold down from that 10 price to that red line, which we said would be support, and now bounce. So your dip buy for Clove just happened, FYI. I was just getting ready to add a short onto Clove, but then it just already smacked right back down. That sucks. So it looks like Mrna is continuing down a little bit off the 9-day moving average today. The PBTS is still holding below its breakout level. The CTSD hit the scanner, same with BOSX. I don't really see those doing anything too crazy. BTBT currently selling down on the day. Stock ARRY making a crazy move right now. Yeah, still keeping an eye on PBTS here. Again, it's still below the 185 mark, which is the mean. Again, very debatable whether or not we actually get this to break up today. Nope, we sold pins. We even let everybody know the day that we sold pins. Hopefully it's not up. Hopefully it continued down and I was right, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty much kind of trickling down. So analysis is still the same there. Waiting for it to hit its next lower risk dip buy zone, which is pretty much that green box or so. So PBTS just took out the pre-market high there. Yeah, because we're pretty much just doing a live analysis onto YouTube, only keeping our Elites trading program for now, as we see a shift in the internet world becoming more popular onto YouTube, and we think long term it's going to create more growth for the company in the long run. So that's pretty much what we're doing. And if it doesn't, then this is what it is. Yeah, I'm looking at PBTS. I mean, even if it were to break, it's only going to be a 20-cent profit trade potentially. I mean, PBTS, I mean, like I said, it's moving okay. Like I said, you can watch it up to maybe the 220 mark today, 226-ish. Is AMC going to a new low of 20s today? PBTS up to 207, baby. Lego. Okay, I'm sorry if that sounded really weird. Apologize. So the question was AMC to new lows today? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I'm less concerned about whether or not it goes to new lows. I'm just more or less concerned with whether or not when it gets to one of our price targets that we want to be active at. PBTS, that is up to 208 and counting. With lots of volume, too, so that's pretty good. Remember what we said earlier about the market, the S&P 500? We said that your support level on the day was where? Remember we were talking about where the support level was? So this was what we recommended being the support area, as in the market would try to come down to test this level. So if you're anybody that focuses on the SPY, this could very well be the level that you want to consider taking a long position at. PBTS did a pullback there, starting to get bought up. Again, we'll see if that can get all the way to that 220 price or so. All right, so you can see that the SPY is starting to bounce there a little bit off that level that we told you to consider as a long play. Again, I don't know if any of you are interested in the SPY or what you think, but again, that was kind of the first level which I figured we would see some sort of buying and support attempt on the day of the S&P 500 or the market. Just an FYI. All right, PBTS just hit 203 for a second. PBTS still consolidating again. If it does go up to like the 220 mark right now, you're basically looking at a 20-cent move is all. I would say AMC is still having like a good day. It's still holding up really well. Yeah, Stream Deck's the best, I gotta say. Still watching PBTS. Again, like I said, max target I really only think could be into the 220s area. SPY kind of bouncing there a little bit. Excuse me. As we had mentioned just a second before. A good bounce there from the SPY, I gotta say, not bad, not too shabby. I actually haven't seen Mrna for a sec here once. Let me take a peek. Wow. So yeah, still going down. Yeah, I think you could be bearish Mrna, maybe looking, like I said, 353 is kind of a target where we would have liked to see this get to overall. I'm not sure which link you're referring to because it shouldn't be wrong, but if you could let me know which link you're actually referring to that's not working, that would help. All right, so looking at Mrna here. I mean, it's just a down swinging move. You're basically just trying to short into weakness. PBTS trying to break up there again. We'll see if it's enough. We'll see. I don't know. A bunch of sellers hammering it right back down, unfortunately. Right under your vid stream top list. Yeah, I mean, what is the title of it, actually? Jay Newman, sorry. I posted. All right, well, either way, I guess I can, once the stream's over, I can go back and just double check all the links and see which ones are inaccurate, but I will definitely make sure to do that. PBTS kind of looking like it's going to make its move here. We'll see. PBTS, it's trying. It's sitting right at the 206 high. Can it break through? Hit the 210, 220. So, still got some in there. Let's see, 220, baby. Lego. Selling a little bit of PBTS along the way, but again, that 220 is incoming. Come on, baby. You can do it, darling. There you go. That's 215. That's 217. Add a girl. Close most of it. Pretty much all out of the position there on PBTS. Hit a high of 217. There's 218, 220, selling. And I am done. All out of PBTS at that 220 target. Might go slightly more than what I'm thinking, but that was my projected target for PBTS for the day. Oh, no, I'm not from the South. I am just really weird, and at times I like to make up random accents in my head. Seriously, I do, though. I think they do help. So these are UV block, or not UV blockers. These are LED Blu-ray blocker glasses for computers. So, if you're staring at the computer as much as I am, then yeah, I kind of do recommend these because, yeah, I just do. I do think it helps. I stare at the computers a lot. It's hard to say for sure, but I do feel like in the past I was way more tired and my eyes felt heavier and I felt like I had more of like a headache throughout the day as opposed to I do when I wear these. So I do think there has been a difference or a change. So for what it's worth, PBTS so far it's still holding around that 220 very well, which I'm kind of surprised about. I thought 220 would be the top for the day. If I'm wrong, by the end of the day, maybe we see 266. There should be a pullback here around 220, okay? 226-ish. Market should pull back. Maybe later in the day it ends up going to 266, but for now I only figured that 220s, 226. What do you know? Our YouTube stream just spiked to 782. Oh, it's gone now. It just spiked up to 782 people. Now back to 400. So that's like the fourth time today we've seen our stream numbers jump to 600, 700, and 800 and then get knocked right back down to 439. Figures. Wonder who's behind that. I mean, but do you think that happens 3 times in a day? Do you think YouTube has a glitch 3 times in a day where that incorrectly reports the number of viewers on your screen and then removes it? You think that's a random glitch? It's really odd because if it was a glitch, then you'd assume that other YouTube streamers would probably report that problem, right? It should be a known issue. Hey, we're seeing random numbers spike on our channel, but then so you'd think that would be a known issue, especially if it happens in the occurrence of 3 times in a morning, but yeah, 172,000 subscribers and only 400 people can watch. It's really odd. I don't get it. I don't. Just don't know. You should make that into a shirt. That's funny. Yeah, seriously, I'm getting shorted over here. I'm short and I'm getting shorted. Okay, so the stock docs. I don't really know what's happening here with Mrna, but it's just doing a bounce, so that's cool. Let's go peek on over at AMC. Let's see how that ended up holding up. AMC, I mean, it's still holding that little double bottom. I'm just not convinced that we should be long that move yet. I mean, should we though? I mean, the 10-day chart, you'd have to get up into all these prices for it to really work. Oh, that's also another thing is I have been sleeping significantly better too with over the past couple months. I used to have a lot of problems sleeping, like tons of. I wouldn't sleep. I would go to bed for like an hour, 2 hours, and I just roll around all night. But I have noticed I've been sleeping significantly better over the past year, and I've probably been using these for close to a year. Not every day. Some days I don't have them on because I leave them somewhere and forget them because my ADHD is like terrible. So. But it has worked. But let's go back and let's take a look at the stock PBTS as sort of a refresher. I mean, I think it was a lucky call. I think that was more or less just luck to the 220s. I don't think there was really any significance as to why we picked that. I think it was just all based off of emotional FOMO. Yep. So that's what I was saying. That's why I was trying to say the 220s target PBTS and be more of a seller in that location as opposed to a buyer. So the move ended up working. We pulled back. The only way we could suggest a bigger move now is if we can cross through that 220 level later in the day. And maybe we can get up to like, I don't know, whatever I said earlier, higher, 266. Actually, I am messaging someone right now in my email. Someone is going back and forth, a graphic designer. So the talks have been started. The talks are starting. I know you've been asking for basically a decade, and as you can see, my life. But no, I have been in talks with him. But I'm also going to be reaching out to a couple people, like maybe on Fiverr, to see what kind of work they do, because I want to make sure the stuff we put out is like legit good, not just like some garbage. So I'm going to be talking with some people on Fiverr here too pretty soon. Oh, Mr. Custom, you get kicked off the stream all the time? What do you mean? Like, how does that happen? Like, so you're saying that you enter our stream and then all of a sudden you're no longer watching our stream? How does that work? If you could maybe shed some more light. Weird. Yeah, I mean, that seems odd, but you never know. Never know. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and supporting the channel. It really is greatly appreciated. Now, we do got to get the likes up. We still got to get those bad boys over 500, 600 to break our record. But it's hard to keep breaking records. No, I can't say that. Don't say that. But yeah, we do appreciate you guys stream. But again, yeah, it is hard to break records when, you know, when we would have 800 people on stream, but then it gets knocked back to 400. So it's hard to keep getting more likes than the amount of people that YouTube will allow to come into the stream. So again, it's hard to really grow those numbers unless we can actually have more people to contribute to the thumbs up button, but you know. Nonetheless, PBTS still working okay. Looks like AMC is starting to kind of squeeze a little bit more. I was just debating whether or not if we cleared 32.27, we should consider that as a long. Let's take a look at PLTR just because it seems like some people are talking on it, touching on it, and oh, what do you know? PLTR all the way down to our support level and bounce. It must be luck. Gotta be. Pure luck. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why I'm trying to do this live for free onto YouTube, so that everyone can hopefully learn this. So with PLTR, we should probably still stay on the long side. I think I'm going to take just a starter long position on PLTR. Something, it's just about 50 shares for right now. In the event that it squeezes right away, it'll make money. In the event it drops and it doesn't, then you're not going to get crushed. But yeah, I kind of think we're going to still try to target up to that 25.40s. I'm definitely late from the bottom. Obviously, I wasn't watching it, but you know, so far my analysis has been pretty spot on with PLTR. I mean, we've dropped down to the 23 whatever price. We bounced. We still have room up to the intraday 3 deviation level and the long-term resistance levels that I suggested. We'll see whether or not the market makers are willing to move the stock up to 25.41 this morning, or if the demand's heavy enough to move up to 25.41. But again, 25.41 right now would be my price target for PLTR, and so on. Hate it when they play both sides. 2 toes in my ride. Gotta stay high. Stock ACY is coming across the mixed scans here. Yeah, I mean, my analysis today on ACY wasn't really all that great. I didn't try too hard, but it was just going to basically be buy over this level if it happens. So I just didn't really even think much of it. But anyways, good move on ACY. PLTR just hit 25. It hit 24.99. So pretty much what that means is it hit 25 bucks, and that's pretty much it. Yes, Mr. Hugh, we are live during the markets. Yes, yes. Connor's booked all week at the Comedy Store, folks. Booked all week. PBTS still worth the trade? Probably not. I'm just going to go on an assumption because I do believe that it created a head and shoulders bearish pattern. I could be wrong. Meh. Actually, yeah, I mean, this still could be a candidate for remove. I wouldn't count it out just yet. All right, we hit our first price target, 220. The goal is to go through 220 and hit a 260 on the day. So we'll continue to watch PBTS. If in the event it starts to move and it looks like it's going to move, just make sure to remind me in the chat. That way I don't forget. It is kind of sad. I've only been working on YouTube's platform for years, making their platform more successful. I'm just kidding. There's so many people on it. So yeah, PLTR topped right at about 25 bucks right now. So no instant continuation off that high a day break. So it's kind of like meh, lame. So just gonna close that. Really no point. Actually, I'll give it like 5 seconds. It's such a small position, it doesn't even matter if it goes down. But, yeah, I mean, obviously we want to see it hit 25.66, 25.56. So might as well just wait, see what this pullback brings. There's really no point of panicking on that 2 seconds of candles. It doesn't even matter. Nice. So Michael, pretty much you already know it. Probably, I would assume you probably already know it. But if the markets drop and you own positions in leveraged ETFs like SQQ and whatever all the other ones are that I can't remember off the top of my head, no, you're just owning a leveraged ETF, which is going to provide a greater return than that of the underlying index. It's pretty much it. You're just trying to create a faster return. You know, as fast as they go up, then they come down. Hold on. So close on PLTR doesn't look like it's going to make a move right now. After that pullback where we tested the breakout move didn't work. Remember what we said earlier that $25 where a bunch of option contracts are. So in the event the market makers could also be not trying to allow PLTR through the $25 price today. But yeah, when it comes to leverage ETFs, again, they go up depending on the leverage. If it's 2 times or 3 times, it's going to go up 3 times the amount of the underlying index in which it tracks. So if the underlying index goes up 1%, then your leverage ETF goes up 3%. If it's a 3 times leverage, if the market goes down 1%, yours goes up 3%. If the market goes up 1%, you go down 3%. Just know that the gain that you're receiving on the upside is equal to the gain that you'll receive on the downside. So it's just you taking a position in something that's leveraged more to create a bigger return. Generally speaking, you're not supposed to hold those either long term, and they're only really supposed to be used for trading purposes. Generally speaking. What the? Really? No, I haven't tried making the standard deviation channel into a bot. No. There have been people that I've discussed potentially doing that with, but no, we have not. Nope, Dad didn't teach me how to trade. He does not trade. The stock VJet is moving, just an FYI, so maybe that's of interest. Nope, never mind. VJet's trash. Don't worry about it. Why is NEO dropping so much? Because people are selling the stock, probably. But really have no idea why it's dropping so much. Really just means that people are selling it is all. Or it means that the market makers want to buy shares, so they're lowering the price. So yeah, nonetheless, I would assume that NEO... I mean, this is something that we did discuss, the potential of NEO breaking down to the mean. So for now, I don't really care to be long biased NEO now until it gets down to the price of, you know, pretty much 30, yeah, maybe 40 bucks or so myself. Yeah, PLTR is still kind of chopping in that $25 area so far. Let's see what ended up happening to... Oh, XBIO hit the scanner. Anything good? Kind of. A lot of years. A couple of years was my learning curve. What am I looking at? What was I going to look at? It was, oh yeah, it was beet. No, clove. Yeah, wow, clove almost sold all the way down to the 870 target. Didn't think it would do that, but sure enough it did. Yeah, not taking a position on XBIO. XBIO only really has maybe up to 452, so profit potential there is basically non-existent at that point. There goes PLTR, still refusing to kind of go through the 25 mark. Swing long on KNBE, no, because, I mean, it's got a little more room up, but not a lot. You're about to run into resistance on KNBE either today or by tomorrow. So there's, so what did I say? XBIO, maybe a 450 target. It actually has potentially up to 480, but for now I would really only expect 452 out of XBIO. Yeah, Tesla's rolling down. Yeah, so market makers force a short squeeze by basically bidding up a stock. That's it. So, for example, you know, if 100 people all sell a stock short at the price of $10, then their stop loss is probably going to be right around $10, right? So let's say everyone shorts at $10, stock goes down. I'm the market maker. Oh, there we go. Our stream just spiked up to 728 users and back down. There it is on the screen. Boom. Oh, just went away. So yeah, we just spiked up to another 700 viewers live, and then YouTube knocked us back down to 400, unfortunately. Very sad. Very sad, YouTube. Yeah, market makers. So if everyone shorts at 100, the market maker already knows that your stop loss is probably going to be around 100. Yeah. So market makers know everyone's short at 100. Stop loss is, or sorry, everyone knows they're short at 10, so stop loss is probably around 10. Let's say market moves down. Ideally, you know, whether it's by the means of the market maker and other people interacting in the market, it really just comes down to people bidding and buying up the stock until it gets close to the stop loss of the short sellers, in which the market maker knows exactly where the stop losses are going to be of most of the short sellers. So all he's got to do is get people to get the market up and through that spot, and then everybody who shorted the stock is going to buy their stock, and it's going to cause a move. So it's really not confusing, because all you have to think about is what moves the markets are people's stop losses and buying pressure and all of that, right? So if you can figure out where a big group of people all did the same thing, then you know exactly where they're all going to do the same thing again, right? So if a bunch of people all bought a stock because they thought $30 was the bottom, so let's say half of the world buys a stock at 30, thinking 30 is the bottom, and then it's not, and the market maker moves the price back down just below 30, then half of the world is going to sell their position around 30, creating a big sell-off right at that price point. So that's generally the basic concept of the market. Oh, what do you know? The stream spiked up again just now, up to 726. Now we're back to 417. There it is, live for you guys, literally catching it live. How does that happen 6 times, 7 times a day? Where are these 300 people going and then disappearing from every single time? That's really what I'm most concerned about. I just want to make sure that those people on YouTube are getting to where they need to be, because it seems like they're confused. It seems like they keep coming to our stream and then keep leaving. So I just want to make sure that they're okay and they don't have dementia or something. That could be a very serious thing that we need to look into, YouTube. I think you guys should highly consider figuring out what's happening to those 300 people. Did they get the vaccine? Do they need Alzheimer's drugs? What is going on? Those could be lives lost. This is very serious. So yeah, we're just basically sitting here hanging out. Still debating whether or not I want to do anything with PLTR. That's odd. Our stream just dropped from 400 down to 228. We went from 400 to 86. That's weird. I wonder if that comes back up. Probably, but... Oh, now we're back to 388. It's too hard to judge what this thing does. Nice. Good job. Good job. Looks like AMD might be holding support where we suggested support was. Kind of, not really. Seriously, that is what happens. I love YouTube. YouTube's my best friend. I love YouTube. YouTube's my best friend. No, you're absolutely right. On your end, it probably hasn't changed much. I don't think so. Can buying the dip of Wix be a play? Buying the dip of anything could be a play. Buying the dip for your Tostitos could be a play. Yes, that is a play. I think you should probably consider being long bias Wix off that bottom. Yes. Might take a little bit to recover, but nonetheless, you are at sort of a lower risk buying zone for a counter trend long bounce. Thumbs up. Yeah, everybody should buy Google stock. Google is the absolute best. Yeah, I mean, Google. What do you say there? I mean, they're just amazing. Fantastic. No, seriously, have not seen anything that I've really cared to trade really since the PBTS move. You know, really I've only traded like 2 things a day, or 3 things: Mrna, PLTR, and PBTS. So lost money on PLTR, lost money on, well, still losing money on Mrna, but not a ton, and made money on PBTS. For those that are curious, that never think I trade anymore, there you have it. Those are the trades for the day. Yeah, definitely not financial advice. Definitely entertainment purposes only. No, my mom and dad did tell me I could have been a comedian. They said I should have been a comedian, but then I never did that. So you guys get a little bit of comedy and a little bit of stonk. At least that's what other people think. Give me a second. I'm going to be right back. And in the meantime, we're going to play you a really cool advertisement. How about that? Which, by the way, guys, I've been keeping track to see whether or not it really even makes a difference if you run an ad throughout your stream. And so far, it doesn't really appear that running an ad through a stream really even helps generate more revenue. But again, I've only really done it for 2 days. So I'm going to keep trying it and see if throughout the week it even does make a difference. So like because I've already looked at numbers from when we stream without doing inserted ads, and I really don't think it makes much of a difference, or at least I'm not seeing it, and most of it's going to YouTube. I have no idea. So I'm probably going to play around for the next couple weeks and see if it really does make a difference. But so far I haven't really noticed much. So in that, I'll be right back. Okay, so kind of wanted to talk about this really quickly. This is the S&P 500, and it is, well, I really just kind of show you, like, this is me just backtracking to show you that I'm not perfect. So, you know, the analysis of today was the SPY, you know, support level that you'd look for is right here. And we suggested you could look for a bounce in that zone, which it did bounce, but then later broke through. So this is kind of an example of when, you know, you have a level picked out you think will work, and it bounces and then doesn't work. So what I'm trying to explain is, right, never is there like anything that's totally perfect when it comes to the market. Excuse me. Yeah, there's nothing that's ever totally perfect when it comes to the market. So, you know, part of my analysis and things that I would go about doing are still wrong at times, many a times. But what I noticed too, though, is, you know, with the analysis that I usually go for, you know, if we thought this was the support, what I'm getting at is generally the levels that I'm picking and putting on the charts, they tend to be accurate. Sometimes they're wrong. Like in this case, it's wrong. But they tend to be accurate enough to even if the level does end up breaking, as you can see it did here, normally the level that we pick is a level that's identified by enough computers and algorithms that there's at least an attempt at that level. So even if it does end up failing, usually there's enough of a bounce where you make a little bit of money, or you can skate out, break even before it ends up crashing and breaking through the support, ideally. All right. So that's something that, you know, we've kind of noticed too at times. Oh, B made $1,000 for the day on the PBTS call. Thanks for letting us know what stocks to watch. No problem, my man. Unless you have Twitter available for your people. I'm just really not much of a fan of Twitter. Hold on, PBTS. Ooh, PBTS, kind of kind of grinding back up there a little bit. Yeah, I really do have to do some standard deviation stuff because a lot of my analysis using standard deviation has changed quite a bit. All the stuff that's in there is good, but it kind of needs to be moved to like secondary because I've started using it a different way that's better than the first way I was using it. So it's kind of like secondary material that now needs to be in there, but I will. Yeah, this PBTS... Like I said, our target was 220 to 226 on the day. We hit that first target. We're still consolidating. This move right here, this little gray box I'm putting, so that was a little bit of a breakout and a short squeeze. So anybody who was selling, they got taken out there. So shorts got taken out there. Now the objective of the market is to maintain pretty much that level, which is also the regression level. So you can see that these candles are all touching the regression level. So intraday, for PBTS to continue moving to the upside, we don't want the market to break down below the price of 203, which is the intraday mean. So ideally, we want to make sure that the price doesn't break below that. You know, I don't pay enough attention to sector rotation as I probably should. It could definitely help my trade. So that's an area where I should learn a little bit more. It's not one of my strong suits, to be completely honest. Gotta start showing some skin. All right, so you'll see we got PBTS. It is starting to break through that intraday mean price. Again, we don't want to see that. We want it to continue holding that trend, right? So like this is how the average retail investor will look at their trend. They will go like this and go, this is the trend that we need to stay above, right? And it's to a degree it's correct, right? So that's a price action trend. This is a statistical standard deviation trend. So you would have said here, oh, it broke its trend and now it's downtrending, when in reality it's still holding its uptrend here. Okay, so that's a retail market investor. This is still a retail market investor. But again, most of the retail market will look at the markets like this, say trend has broken, whereas we're looking at this and we're looking at this. So we know exactly why the candle's wick is here. We know exactly why it's stopping here. We know why there's a green candle here. We can see that. But for the average investors in the market, they have absolutely no clue. Another thing would be like, the average investor would go, okay, we're in a pennant. That's another thing they'll do. They'll go, okay, we got a pennant here. And without standard deviation on the chart, they would do it correctly, right? So even without the standard deviation, they'd be like, okay, we kind of have this pennant here. So they would draw the price action themselves. And that's actually like sort of correct. But, the more accurate line is obviously the mean. So by having that white line there, obviously it's a more accurate way of doing it. But if you drew a wedge pattern like this, right? So if we draw that wedge, you say, oh, as it comes to the end of the wedge, it's going to break one way or the other, right? We say that as the wedge happens, it's going to break one way or the other, right? So ideally, we are in this wedge, and all we're watching is to see, does the market continue sustaining above that mean? If so, this wedge can potentially break to the upside. If we get towards the end of it and we start to close and break below the mean, then we could suggest downside move. So on, so forth. Oh boy. Oh man. Smack out. Hate it when they play both sides. Two dogs in my right. Are you still watching PLTR? I haven't really watched PLTR for a couple minutes after I did that little trade and didn't amount to much. Pop back over there. So yeah, I really just haven't really cared for it too much. But so far, we're almost up to that target. So yeah, I've already made a decent amount of money today. I'm not really pressing it, but even though I'm not involved in this, and that happens all day, every day. There's going to be a stock that I do an analysis on, and it pretty much does everything I say, and I make no money on it because I was focused on other things, didn't quite catch in the right moment in time, so on and so forth. But, that's a part of the game. And as long as my analyses are on point, they're pretty much straightforward, and they make sense, and people here can take advantage of it, then that is the main goal here. Don't miss my question. Can you look at BILI? Looking at the chart, it's currently trading at -2 on the daily. Great play to go long and ride out to the mean with the earnings coming up 819. My mean shouldn't be on 1/2. So look at PBTS. You can see the breakdown is happening, and you know exactly why the breakdown is happening. We have successfully crossed below the intraday mean. That's good stuff, isn't it? I mean, I gotta say, this is some pretty good stock porn, if you ask me. All right, but BILI, let me take a peek on that one. So BILI, you're saying -2 on the day. So it's at half deviation on the daily, and it is not at -2 on the 4 hour. So this is still at a spot where I'm not crazy about being long. But you're not wrong for thinking maybe it goes down to the -2 daily mark. But yeah, if you see this down at -2, that's where you're going to want to be long next time. Yes. Yeah, if this somehow sank all the way down here to 62, we would guaranteed be a long bias investor on that. The 1 day 1 minute mean is at $2.04 right now. I mean, generally speaking, I normally get out around 12 o'clock. I take my dog on a walk. So I normally actually walk probably 3 times a day, at least minimum. Haven't worked out as much as I haven't been working out at all. I mean, you guys can see I'm not a little boy, We got some guns on these bad boys. So it's just been a while since I've actually been back to the gym. It's a good mental health thing for me, but I've just been so busy lately, and it's really no excuse, but I'm using it, so be it. I do use the 3-year weekly chart from time to time. It's less about trying to find levels to look at, but more or less giving me at least 3 years of data to kind of look at. I guess that's kind of contradictory to what I just said. But no, I do look at 3-year charts, but it's more or less, if I'm like trying to see 3 years of data. I don't commonly use that for levels. Could you look at my DMs? Whoa, did you send me a DM in your banana hammock? Because I would love nothing more. All right, so the sell-off we're seeing with PBTS, my assumption is that it's going to go to this red line. I didn't really say that before, but again, this break of this move should go down to about $1.86, and then we should kind of bounce at about $1.86. And I'm not going to trade that because I don't think it's a good enough bounce to trade, but let's just see if, in fact, we go to this line and we start to get a green candle. There should be some sort of pause and hesitation on the downside drop at about 186 in this area. I'm very excited. Very excited for the Turo Venture as well. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts to it. What I didn't tell you is that my brother is also going to help manage it. Obviously, you guys can see I'm here for 3 hours right now, so if in the event someone needed me to deliver a car right now, well, bud, you're screwed. I guess you might as well rent a scooter to ride around on, which I have one of those, so that could work too. But yeah, my brother is also going to help manage the company. So, I would say that's a lie, because there's some people that are just crushing it on Turo that are significantly bigger than I will be. So what I was going to say is completely false-ish, but maybe not. Because my brother is going to end up becoming a partner on the company. So he doesn't have any money. When I say that, I mean he's got money, but not like that. So most of the money going in is all my capital, but he's going to be using his time to manage it. So we're going to be writing up a contract where he gets equity into the company through working off the equity. So it's called sweat equity. So don't know what the numbers are yet, but a certain amount of year, a certain amount of time spent in working will result in X amount of equity into the company for him spending all of his time managing it. So the goal of it is for me to really sit back, collect money, look at the finances while he fuels up the cars, cleans the cars, drives into people's, contacting people, talking to people, pretty much handling all of the day-to-day management of it while I sit back and look at numbers. And so for him doing all that work over X amount of years, he'll work himself into an X amount of percentage equity into the company. Because if I want to do this, it would be significantly harder for me given my schedule and all the other things I have to keep up with. I would really be burned at all ends then. And then everything would just start falling through the cracks. And the other reason, too, that I'm pretty adamant about trying this and doing this is because I own an investment property, too. It's a 4-unit property, so theoretically I own 4 rentals already, but it's really just one property. So I own 4 doors currently, so own 4 rental doors. And even if I tried my best to take all the money I'm making from that rental and all of the money, all the cash flow that I'm making, So again, for rentals, you have your expenses and you have cash flow. And the idea is when you have a rental property that all the rent you take in for the month can cover the cost of the note, the mortgage payment, insurance, and then have money left over. That's called your cash flow. So even if I took all the cash flow I'm making, and that's saying if there was I forgot the numbers I did, but just say if I took all the cash flow with a little bit of expense here and there and put it down on the monthly mortgage payment and the note, if I put it all down, then I could pay off that property in 10 years and be cash flowing 100%. Now, when I looked at that, I'm like, okay, that's cool. If I don't do that, then it's going to take me 30 years if I go on the regular base schedule that I have it on, because I could choose a 30-year mortgage anyways, blah, 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 blah. If you look at the numbers with Turo, I could take a $20 investment in Turo, and if done successfully, and of course there's inherent risks that can come along. Oh, by the way, look at PBTS. You can see PBTS went exactly to that red line, and now it's starting to bounce. I promise you it's pure luck. So if we take all the cash flow, put it down on the property, it'll pay itself off in 10 years. If I take $20,000 and go buy a car and rent it out in Turo, based on the numbers, I could pay off that investment in 3 years. So I could get 100% return, slightly less than 100% return because of expenses. So I don't know the return exactly. But for simple math purposes, based on all the numbers I've done, I mean, you could get 100% return on your investment over 3 years, which is significantly faster than a rental property, so to speak. So it's just another way to diversify the income of my portfolio of all of my assets while creating a quicker return than that of a rental property, and it takes less capital. So based on my numbers, if I was lucky, it could be 2.5, but it's probably going to end up being anywhere from 3 to 4 years that I think you will get 100% return on the vehicle. Based on my numbers, and not being so aggressive, because there is insurance costs, there are going to be maintenance costs, there will be situations where maybe someone does screw up the car and then Turo's being a complete pain in the ass and doesn't want to take care of the claim, and then I end up having to go out of pocket to make the fixes, whatever it might be. Maybe I use my own insurance and then my insurance goes up, which I'm not going to avoid doing. So unknown expenses, which I think is going to take my numbers from 2.5 to 3 years return to 3 to 4. So I think anywhere from 3 to 4 is a more realistic number for making return. And I plan to keep the vehicles anywhere from 5 to 6, because if my numbers are correct and it takes about 3 to 4 years to pay off the investment. You get all your money back. So let's say you make 100 to a 70% return, whatever it might be. So after 3.5, 4 years, vehicle's paid off. You can then use the 5th and 6th year, rent that vehicle out, and you're making 100% cash flow on the vehicle. Well, yeah, at that point, you've got all your money back, so now you have the vehicle. You can sell the vehicle, and whatever the vehicle's worth, that's your return, and on top of whatever else money you've made from renting the car. Also, our stream just jumped up to 600 users right now, and now it's back down to 400. So that's like the 10th time that's happened this morning. Not a random occurrence, not a coincidence. So the money that you make comes in the end when you get to sell your car and all the money that you made renting out the car. So after 4 years, your car is paid off. You could sell the car, let's say your $10,000 car after 4 years of depreciation is only worth $6,000. So you lost $4,000 because you bought it for 10. Now you're selling it for 6. But as long as you made $4,000 profit throughout the 4 years of renting the car, then you're still making your $10,000 back, and you have the car. So now you got $6,000 profit theoretically. And then also you could use the next couple years to rent that car out, and now it's just positive cash flow. And then after those 2 years, you can sell the car. The depreciation of a vehicle it depreciates less the longer that it's kind of been out there. The fastest depreciation happens when it's a newer car fresh off the lot. So by buying used cars and holding them for a little bit longer, the depreciation schedule will thin out a little bit. So pretty much the projection is after 4 years, we can have a car paid off. You could sell it, take the money from the car and all the money you made renting it, or you can choose to rent it out for a couple more years, but the car will make instant cash flow and it's just all straight profit. And then you can sell that car, upgrade to a new car. And so a lot going on there, but we will have another video out for you guys today on that topic. At least I expect I'll have another video out for you guys today on the topic. And that will be what cars I'm finalizing on and thinking that I'm going to go forward with and purchasing for Turo, and then figuring out what the insurance will be for all of those, so that we can get a rough estimate of what the expenses would be monthly, annually, just for those cars alone. So today we should have an estimate of monthly expenses, annual expenses based on insurance, and what cars we're going to have. Yep. So Peter, so Peter raises a good point here, and I'm sorry if we're slightly off topic and not looking at stocks. I apologize again. Oh, wait, there could be something that's interesting. No, that's something we looked at earlier. Never mind. So Nate, someone crashes a vehicle. This is the way it's supposed to work. So when you're renting on Turo provides multiple different tiers of insurance through Liberty Mutual, but then you also have to have your own insurance so that way it's covered in the event, you're driving it to and from places and to deliveries and getting maintenance and gassing and things like that. So you have to actually have two insurances on it. So really when someone crashes the car while renting it on Turo is supposed to basically take care of that. Well, Turo doesn't want to do that because that cuts into Turo's profit. So from my experience in reading around the internet, people have had an extremely tough time getting claims processed and finished accurately through Turo. They always try to nut you around, take your nuts like this and grab you. So that will end up happening. I know it's going to happen. So I'm already expecting that some tomfoolery fuckery is going to happen. So I'm not going to be so pissed off when it happens because I'm already telling myself right now it's going to happen. And that's just going to be part of the business rule. But I will try my best. So they're supposed to cover the claim. A lot of times they don't. I'm sure some of the things that I'm reading on the internet about these bad experiences are some of the worst experiences, right? I'm sure there's been plenty of great experiences with people getting claims done through Turo. It's just like anything. You read reviews, there's going to be one dude that didn't have a happy ending the night before from his wife, and he's all pissed off, and he writes a bad review on Amazon, okay? So there's always going to be those people, all right? And there's always going to be the great claims where the dude gets his car crashed, and he contacts Turo, and the thing goes through in a couple weeks, and guess what? You never hear about it because there's no point of even talking about it because it's such an easy breezy situation that the guy didn't even think twice of leaving a bad review. So that being said, if the car's crash while someone's renting it, Turo is supposed to cover the cost of the crash. They will probably give you every excuse in the book to avoid doing that. So it's always your job to make sure you have detailed documents of everything as best as possible for any situations that arise. One of the things that I was going to do was I was going to call Turo before I even list my cars to make sure that I go over all the insurance packages that Turo offers, and I'm going to give them multiple different scenarios of if and what would happen, and that phone call will be recorded. And then I'm going to call Turo again so that I can get through to multiple different agents and run me through the insurance process and give them all of the same scenarios, and I will record all of those phone calls so that when and if the day comes that a car is crashed on my Turo account, I will play them back their recording as proof this is exactly what you told me. And if at that point that's not enough to corner them into a position, I will come to the realization that Turo is no longer going to help me that much if any future claims happen, and I should just start positioning myself to expect that I will have to cover the cost of those. And at that point, I will have better projections on the numbers. I have thought of almost everything. I do have a brain. It can be small at times, but it can work wonders at times too. Please don't miss my video request. Was your video request the one regarding different brokers, or was your video request the one regarding TradingView deviation? Is PBTS a good short? No, not really. Part of the reason why it's not really a good short, and I'll explain, is because, and the reason it's not really a good short is because this is where the market started today, down here to $1.33. The halfway point from $1.33 to 225 is this half deviation price at about $1.80-ish, right in that area. So again, the market moved from point A to point B, pulled back from point B to the midway point. So if you think about it, this is where you should have been shorting. PBTS was at the 220 mark, and your cover point could have been all the way down to the $1.80. So the people that were shorting for the market on PBTS today started in the 220s, and their main objective was probably to get back down to the $1.80. So the easy short move for the day has already happened. Now you'd only make money on the short with PBTS if the stock is actually meant to fully break down and crash for the day, which is significantly harder to predict than the crash from 220 down to the $1.80. So the most easily obtainable downside move for PBTS today has probably already happened. Alexander, so anybody who is enrolled in our day trading course or gets our day trading course has access to our premium chat room. To be completely honest, I haven't been spending too much time in there because I spend so much time here and you can only do so much. So really the premium chat room should be looked at as an area where you can communicate with other traders who have been involved in the boiler room trading day trading course. That way you're speaking to investors and traders who have sort of the similar approach and similar idea in the market. But again, when you enroll into the day trading course, you get access to the premium chat room, and from there you can always direct message me through Discord. So if you have any questions on the course, that's really your best way of communicating with me afterwards of getting it, and that's where I kind of will answer those questions and clarifications. But yeah, if everyone could go ahead and tickle the stream before we head out, that would be great. But we got another 15 minutes or so here. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, guys, I've been on YouTube for like 5 or so years now, and this is what I do. I talk. So I've gotten really good at talking. Very good at talking when I want to talk. But after I get done talking for 5 hours, then I don't want to talk. So I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, I've been talking for a long time. This has literally been my job, talking. And then Peter also raised a very important thing here. It's better to buy the car out so you wouldn't have to pay any interest. That is another factor. If you finance a car, then you have the interest to cover on the car. Interest rates right now are extremely low. So low to the point where it is basically free money. It's so low to the point where even if you financed a car, I know so because I know people that do it, your monthly revenue you generate from Turo is going to cover your note and interest. But if you had the opportunity to pay everything out cash and avoid interest, then you're going to save a little bit of money. But the money you're going to save is still so astronomically small that you probably won't even really notice much of a difference. But again, so my goal was I was doing a mix. So the mix I'm doing is I'm going to do half of my cars are probably going to be on finance, half of them are going to be paid out. And the half that are finance are going to have 50% down. At 50% down, based on my numbers, which you guys will all see later in today's video, if I do 50% down, which by the way, our stream just spiked up to another 551 users and back down to 329. So sad, so sad. So, wait up. Good jump from our friend Mrna. So yes, the goal was to finance half the cars with the 50% down. Based on the numbers, I was going to finance 3 cars, 50% down, and the monthly note would come out to about $800. So I'd have, and they're not going to be brand new cars, they're newer models but used. Never going to buy anything new. I never buy anything new. If you've ever known me, I never buy a car new. Always buy used, no matter what. So newer cars, 3 newer cars, 50% down. At 50% down, based on the value of these cars I was looking to finance, I'd be financing about 15 grand a piece or so, give or take. And that would come out to a monthly car note payment for the 3 cars at about $800 a month, which, mind you, is that's a lot of money, yes, but a lot of individuals have monthly car payments of $500, $600, $700 just on one car. And they're not doing anything with those cars to make money on them. They're just paying that out of pocket from their job while their car is depreciating. So at 50% down, the payments on 3 cars comes out to about $800. So all I would really need to do is make sure that the 3 cars that I have fully paid off rent out at least $800 a month, and then that would cover the cost of all of those 3 cars. Now, of course, that doesn't mean I'm generating money. That means I'm just getting by. But all I have to do, the only thing I actually have to do to be comfortable on the debt is just to make sure that the cars that are already paid off, which is instant full profit cash flow, makes $800 a month. And then I can pay off all those 3 sort of brand new cars that I put money on. And I never even have to touch any of the income I make to begin with. So there's a lot of thought that's been put in. So I'm going with some of them financed, some of them paid off. That way we can create instant cash flow. But we can also get ourselves into some more luxury item cars without having to go ahead and spend so much money. All right. Yeah, so so if you're referring to the moving average I have on my chart, so it depends on which ones you're talking about. If you are talking about these moving averages that are following the price action, then those are just the typical moving averages that you add from the Thinkorswim trading platform. Excuse me. If you're referring to the moving averages here, this blue one, this red one, etc., that comes from our gap finder system. Might also have been installed into our deviation system, but I don't think so. So yeah, the moving averages that you see, these kind of like hashed ones, those come from our gap finder system, which you would have to get from boilerroomtrading.com. Am I online daily? Yeah, we're online every single morning from 8 o'clock until 11 a.m. So if you tune in, you might get kicked out of the stream, but you know, that's just normal apparently. No alerts on NAOV. It's exploding. If I go over here and this is not exploding, okay. It's kind of exploding. I give it to you. Yeah, that's weird. Oh no, there was an alert on it, but it wasn't an alert that would typically make me look because it wasn't super exploding is the way to put it. So I don't even have to say it. I already know that somewhere at 323 to this zone was a resistance. Let's just go find it. All right, ready? We're going to go to the daily chart. All right, market spiked. Oh, market spiked up a little bit higher than typically here. Huh, interesting. So this is back to overbought. I mean, that was a no-brainer. We already knew that. All right, so your market is slightly overbought, which makes sense as to why it's pulling back. But yeah, it was alerted on the scanners, but it wasn't alerted because, or it just didn't. Never mind. just never mind. So this is something that actually exceeded some levels significantly today. So yeah, the selling location of the market on NAOV started at 289 and went to a high of 299. So this is a situation where probably some short sellers got squeezed, people were exuberant, a little euphoric, and were willing to continue buying this. But so it definitely got overbought. If this is going to continue moving higher, it can't go below the price of 290. Right now, 290 is a long-term support level, which is also the target price on this short down. So for right now, I'd be probably bearish, not really long bias the stock anymore at this point. If you're long bias, you're looking for a counter trend bounce for the time being. But yeah, more on the downside of this now. Really no good video on chart patterns, but I will be releasing a video on chart patterns fairly soon here. It's probably not going to be, it's going to be a video that most people probably don't like because it's going to be a little more truthful than if you trade this pattern, you're going to make a bunch of money. The reality of that video is going to be that most of the patterns you trade are going to result in you losing money because patterns have a less statistical probability and or winning rate just in general. But we will give you the list of the most profitable patterns that you can use. It's just going to be slightly contradictory to most of the videos that are on YouTube. Connor, what do you find the easiest way to make money? Get a job. It's usually the easiest way to make money. Seriously, no, it really is the easiest way to make money. It's pretty straightforward. Someone says they want you to do something, you do that, they give you money. So for right now, I'm projecting anywhere from 60 to 65,000 into the car business. I already know that it's going to be more than that because by the time I get to Secretary of State and the government takes money from you for really no reason other than no reason, it'll be more money. So you're gonna have your registration costs, plate costs, things like that. So there is some other expenses. So it's probably gonna end up, and taxes, right? Because it makes total sense for the government to tax the same car 10 times in a row, right? Oh, we can't have that discussion yet. That's too truthful. But yeah, the government taxes your car 5 times over. So brand new car, sold, gets taxed, resold, gets taxed, resold, gets taxed, resold, gets taxed. That's really incorrect. That's morally incorrect for our government to do that to the free people of this country. It's really sad. So that's not good. But those expenses will be ongoing. So yes, there's probably going to be more than $65,000 put up given once we get to the taxes, once we get through the registration and things like that. But at least for buying cars, I was planning on working with anywhere from 60 to 65,000. What do I look for when making resistance and support lines? Standard deviation. Huh. Well, yeah, and that's another annoying thing, right? I don't know that, but I will look that up, and thank you very much for the whole recording of the call situation. Obviously, there's laws in place, but the morally correct thing would be that if one person can record a call, the other person should be able to record a call. That's how it should be no matter what, right? That seems like fair and equitable, right? Isn't that fair and equitable? That if one party can do it, the other one can do it? That seems like fair, equitable, and equality to me. But anyways, I will look into that. Thank you very much. That was something I kind of thought of but didn't really know if it existed, so I will make sure to do that before I end up doing the right thing and getting in trouble for doing the right thing. Yep, trading that I do is off stream. Nobody really needs to see my trades to know the price levels that we're discussing. And then, of course, if you want to be involved in live trading, that is still a service that we do provide, and it's through the Elites Trading Program. No, I just walk into the dealership and I just straight up tell them, I know where your grandma lives, okay? I want this brand new Mercedes 50% off. And that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't done it before, you should try it. Sooner than later, you will probably be handcuffed and taken to jail. But at least you get one free meal out of it. So, if you're hungry. Yeah, no, I mean, I would definitely let them know that I'm recording them, 100%. I would just say it really, 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 really fast. And hi, my name is Connor Pulver. By the way, this call will be recorded. Thank you very much. Just like that. Alrighty, we're at about 10:57. I don't have a Patreon. That's just not something that I really even care to do. We will end up having like a channel membership thing here on YouTube, but it takes a little bit of time to set up, and I got a bunch of other things that I'm doing, so. Just record it and speed it up. That's funny. So yeah, I think we're going to end it here today. Overall, not a bad day. Still got a small position on Mrna, which is only up like $6. And then I got, like I said, I closed out 460 there on PBTS and lost 96 on PLTR. So it's close to a $400 day or slightly below. So anyways, we will end the stream there. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in every single day. As you guys know, it is 100% your job and my job to make sure we share the stream to every single possible location we can to try to get the viewership up over the 430 mark. Again, we've been doing this for almost 2 weeks now, and YouTube has maintained us at about 430 viewers live. So it will be very interesting to see the day that we actually surpass that resistance. Well, we've actually surpassed it multiple times. We've gotten up to 700 to 800 users, but then they knock us right back down to the resistance of 400. So we're not sure why that's happening, but we do appreciate your support and ask for all your help in sharing the stream and hitting the like button to hopefully increase the viewership to where it should be. So with that being said, I will see you guys back online tomorrow morning. Hopefully give some more accurate price targets. You guys can make some money. I can make some money. Well, have a happy, great day. All right, guys. Cheers. Stay tuned for the next Turo video because it's probably going to happen today.